So garden carpets. In what we mean by that is ground covers. But when you use the term ground covers for native plants, we use it in a different way than you would, let's say, using vinca or English ivy to just completely cover, completely be a monoculture essentially of a plant on a slope or something like that. So these plants they do cover ground, they do move around, spread around to make a nice carpet of sorts, but many of them, most of them really are not evergreen. And so it's a little bit different from your typical concept of what a ground cover is. But what I love about these plants is they do form a kind of a foundation for your garden. And if you can afford to buy them as small plants and to buy them in a quantity, you can get a nice undergrowth going pretty quickly. And in Claudia West and Thomas Rainer's book about planting in a post-wild world, they really advocate this use of, instead of always using so much mulch, is to try to plant these plants that creep around. And so green and gold is, it's like one of these plants, Larry's going to talk about that one, but it's just one of these plants that is just bright and sunny and bloom, and then it just sort of fades a little bit into the background the rest of the year, but it's just always there.
Let me jump in here before this page goes away. A new plant that people need to come look at is the pussy toes, the Antonaria virginica. This is a fairly new plant on the market, and it's remarkable. You should come see it out on the native terrace here at UNCC. It's quite dwarf, quite tolerant. It's creepy in that it covers a lot of space, but it's delicate. And so that's the one plant that's would be the least known to most people of all of our native ground covers, because it's so new in the trade. So come take a look at pussy toes.
Yeah, and just so you know which one that is the bottom one. Yeah. And that picture we chose because it really shows how it can spread, but up close it's really adorable, and you can learn why it's called pussy toes.
So we should move on to the picture of green and gold.
We're going to move on. Yep.
There are many different cultivars of green and gold. There are some that are more clump forming, like the cultivar Allen Bush, and there's others that are more creeping. And then there's the one on the right called Eco Lacquered Spider, and it can send out runners up to 3 feet long. That has a very specialized use, and you may not need one of those. So you should be careful before you buy one, because those long runners will quickly fill in and cover up space. But if that's what you want, that's what it'll give you. I use those as I walk on them in my paths, because that's where they are. But green and gold they're evergreen, or certainly semi-evergreen. They bloom heavily in the spring with a little blooming later in the year. One thing it seems they do not like is wetness. So don't put them like I did once in front of a downspout or a place where water stands. They'd rather be too dry than too wet.